I'm Rob Skinner, and this is the Rob Skinner Podcast. In this episode, I talked to Kevin Liu, Felipe Moraes, and Ed Mejia, who I've been working alongside with at the University of Arizona. They share about their experience on campus in the fall of 2022 and what the Ministry Incubator is all about. All this and more on the Rob Skinner Podcast. Welcome back to the Rob Skinner Podcast. My goal is to inspire you to live a no-regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Well, it's great to be back here on the program. And tonight I'm really excited because I've got some of the guys that I feel the closest to in the kingdom and in my church. And that is the guys that I've worked with this past semester on campus. Kevin Liu, who leads the campus ministry at the University of Arizona. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Rob.
Felipe Moraes.
Howdy.
And Ed Mejia.
Hello.
And so I wanted to get together with these guys because there's been some questions about the Ministry Incubator program. And something I really wanted to do was try to focus on the process, focus on working together with young men and helping them to rise up so that we could build a great campus ministry. But not only that, but they could get trained so that they could go on, lead other campus ministries, churches, church plantings, start their own churches domestically or around the world, and do it in a way that would be fun and where you're working together with other people. There's a camaraderie, there's an esprit de corps that comes with it. And so I want to start off this interview, this conversation with these four guys by asking each one of you to introduce yourself. And how'd you guys end up in Tucson?
I'll go first.
All right, Kevin.
My name is Kevin Liu, and my wife and I, we were in China. We were serving on the mission field. Then I was refused entry. Then we had to move back to America. And I took a pause in my career, so I didn't really have any career to speak of. So I was just doing manual labor at Amazon and listening to the Rob Skinner podcast. It just motivated me, reminded me, kept my dream alive. And then when I heard that you guys needed help on campus, when I heard that you guys were planting a church in the middle of COVID in Flagstaff, I was like, things are happening there. And I just decided to move there. And once I made that decision, I got a job on campus. The Lord provided.
That's awesome.
My name is Felipe Moraes, and I moved here from Philadelphia a little over 2 years ago. I was doing a ministry there with the Youth and Family Ministry under Audie Monday and Bethany Monday, and that was a great time. Did that for 2 years. And in that time, I discovered a passion in myself I really wanted to be able to go anywhere and start something, start a ministry, start a church, lead a ministry, whatever it is. And a family friend of mine in Brazil, Alcides, also last name Moraes, goes way back with my dad, and he recommended a book. At that time, it was called 0 to 100, Church Planter's Guide, and written by Rob Skinner. So he gave it to me. He recommended it, said, read this. If it fires you up and doesn't scare you away, then it's probably a good idea to maybe move to Arizona and learn from Rob, keep pursuing ministry. So I read it. I was definitely intimidated, but also inspired, and reading those stories really just made the dream, it fueled the passion inside of me. So reached out to Rob and ended up moving here. I think it was in the summer of 2020. And have been here ever since. It's been an awesome journey.
Yeah, it's been great to have you.
This is Ed. So I was living in North Carolina about 2 years ago, and a crossroads in my life, and looking for just the next adventure. And I was working with my father in construction and listening to your podcast, and I was just inspired and just encouraged. And at the time, I also applied to the 1 year challenge, and I think you guys were planting the church in Flagstaff, so I decided to apply. And then I think that's how you contacted me originally. And we talked shortly over the phone and came to Tucson to visit. And I remember we took a trip to Flagstaff with a group of guys. Had so much fun in the snow. It's the winter. It was January. And I loved that time. And then the time I was applying to other jobs here, seeing if God will open doors. And that same week, while I was visiting, I had an interview. And then they offered me the job that next week. So, I just got open doors for me here. A great place to live, too. And I moved across the country, just, a few things in my car, and that was March of 2021, so almost 2 years ago.
That's awesome. It's been great to have all you guys. Now, Kevin, you've spearheaded the work on campus, and you've been working on campus. Last year, you worked under Kelsey Hahn, who's since gone back to China, but this year you've been in charge. What was your strategy going into this fall on campus? Like, what was your mindset?
I think my mindset was to meet as many people as possible and to be as bold as possible and to not overcomplicate things. I remember meeting up with Kyle Plum, and he said at WDS, Kevin, I don't understand why they're having all these classes for campus ministry. It's not rocket science. You just got to share your faith. And then that just simplified it for me, and I was like, because the year before I was trying to do China ministry, in which, you're more indirect. You're trying to build a relationship first. You're trying to build a community. You're trying to build. I think all that is good, but in terms of the volume of people that you need to meet to be successful in American ministry, it just wasn't cutting it. So I just was like, I don't need to come up with a special program, a special tactic, a special anything. I just need to go and cold contact share. And I was met that way. Right. I don't know how you guys were met, but I was met that way. And so we just tabled, we handed out free stuff, and we just try to meet and talk to as many people as possible. Yeah.
What did you start with? What was the hand that you were dealt at the beginning of the semester, and how did it end up? Can you give a quick overview of the semester?
Yeah, we had some people graduate or move on to other places. So we had 3 returnees, 3 students on campus who were returning this semester. And then we had 3 freshmen, Kingdom kids, move in. And that's what we started with.
Okay. And how did it end?
We had 3 baptisms, and so we ended up with 9 students at the end of the semester. Okay,
so you tripled in size this semester, and in terms of baptisms, you doubled what you started with. You went from 3 to 6. That's amazing. So you ended up with 9. Now, let's talk a little bit about Ed. I want to ask you the question: why did you choose to help out on campus? You had a job as an engineer, and we had a talk, and you're like, hey, I want to help out on campus. You came here thinking and told me, I want to help out on campus. Now, you're in your 30s, and I was like, you've got an engineering job, and I was really hesitant about that because you had a great job. And I'm like, this guy wants to let go of that and work on campus. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why'd you choose to do that?
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult decision, but for me, the reason I did that was because I'm single. I'm out of debt. I feel like I had a lot more to give than just a job. And I just felt like my time would be better well spent on campus. Just, and I talked to Kevin, talked to Erica, and then I talked to Felipe, and they just encouraged me to do it. And I mean, it was so worth it. I feel like giving up a job that pays well and that is it's a great career, but at the end I just thought about what would God want me to do? What is God more concerned about? Because in my job, my office, there's only 4 or 5 people there that I see on a daily basis. So, hey, I can meet a whole lot more people on campus and share my life with these guys and learn from you and from them.
Okay, can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, I think I want to just point out Ed didn't start like the semester didn't start off with Ed at first, but I remember this time when Ed's eyes lit up. It was the first Sunday where we had I think it was 18 visitors. It was 3 times the number of students as visitors, where I just see Ed pacing to talk to them, and then pacing to talk to my wife, oh man, I want to help these people. And I think I just was okay, this lit up a fire.
Right.
Yeah, the reason why I think it was because I was converted on campus, and I know how exciting that is, to be a disciple on campus. And it just, you're right, Kevin. I was really excited.
The thing that kind of, I remember talking to you and you said, hey, I want to work on campus. And I remember, kind of going, are you sure about that? And I remember you're like, hey, you're kind of hurting my feelings here, Rob, because I really want to do this. And I was worried, about your career, but you're like, hey, this is really what I want to do. And I think that it was just so interesting because I thought I was being too protective. You were really like, hey, I want to serve God in this way. And it's so funny, Ed, because you got on campus and it was like a fish back in water.
Yeah.
I remember going sharing with you the first time, and I'm like, this guy's amazing. I mean, he's just like a natural. And you're a fairly soft-spoken guy.
Yeah.
But just being out there, I mean, you're bold and just talking to people. It was awesome. It just really taught me a lesson, Let people do what God calls them to do and try not to overthink it. So, Felipe, you just became a nurse. Why did you serve in the campus ministry this fall?
Yeah. Unlike Ed, I was married, not single, and still have debt. So quite a different situation. A little bit, different stakes in that situation. But I moved here in 2020, and I felt like I instantly got really busy. I wanted to go back to school for nursing, and I had basically that fall I had free. So I was able to help on campus. Don Munson was leading the campus ministry, helped him out. But then once they got into November of 2020, I started taking courses to prepare for my nursing program and just felt like swamped. Just got super busy. I was pursuing and building our relationship. And it became increasingly harder to juggle everything. And I felt like I just kind of went on a slow taper of what I was able to handle doing ministry.
Right.
Until I had to take a step back from it completely just before I graduated. So the whole time here, being here for about a year and a half, 2 years at that point, I felt like, wow, okay, I have learned a lot. I've made awesome memories. We've helped people become Christians. I've gotten to serve in different capacities, but I haven't had undivided, fully focused time walking with you, Rob, and helping to build the ministry. And so I just felt like I'm not going to regret making this decision looking back. This is what I moved here for.
Right.
And this is like a golden opportunity that I just felt like I needed to seize. And that's part of what me and Ed talked about too, as we were making the decision. Ed, we were just talking like, wow, Rob's really trying to build up the campus ministry. He's asking me, Ed, others to join in and help out. And I think I told you, Ed, like looking back, we're not going to regret making this decision. And
Yeah.
that's exactly how I feel looking back.
Yeah,
No-
I mean, do
no
you guys have
regrets.
any regrets making this decision?
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, you could have gone and become a nurse already and have been earning a salary. And any thoughts on that?
No,
Would you do it again?
No, I absolutely. Yeah, it's been amazing. It's so much fun. I think. I mean, when I talked to Felipe and he told me that you were gonna ask me to help on campus and possibly quit my job, I was like, yes, ready, let's go.
What were some of the highlights this fall for you guys?
Definitely tabling. I just felt like
Was that a highlight or a low light?
no, it was a highlight for me because it really. I mean, there were times of lowlights, but I just felt like it opened my eyes to people who are open. Like there are way more people that are open out there than I thought.
Yeah.
And even if they're not like immediately willing to study the Bible, like I just, even in the moments of talking to them, I realize, man, this person could become a disciple if we just had more influence in this person's life. And I felt like I talked to everyone, and I felt like everyone is open
Yeah.
to some degree.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Felipe?
I think that was definitely a big highlight. I mean, we met several people who became Christians through tabling or other cold contact sharing activities. I think were all of them baptized from that?
One of them was met just cold contact,
Yeah. Hudson.
and then the other one
Stephen
was
was tabling.
yes, yeah.
Tabling. And then one was someone who'd been studying the Bible somewhere else.
Oh,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was awesome to see fruit from that. Definitely a huge highlight. And I just talking about that first campus service,
Right.
first service of the semester, you felt the energy.
Yeah.
You felt, it was like the air was like vibrating,
Right.
and people were looking out around like wide eyed, like, whoa,
Yeah.
this can happen.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, just tabling, sharing with hundreds of people. I mean, you realize that, like you say, Kevin, ministry is just sharing with as many as possible, finding that one person that is open,
That's right.
and it just takes hard work, and but it's so worth it. I mean, I feel like, man, it was worth it for those three guys who got baptized this semester. Absolutely.
Can I chime in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just another highlight, I think, was being able to do that all together.
Yeah.
In a ministry this small, and we just don't run into disciples all the time on campus. So a lot of the work, we put in a lot of the work,
Right.
but we had each other to egg each other on.
Right.
Kevin had just crazy tabling ideas. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah.
We were shouting at the top of our lungs. But it was really awesome to have that partnership.
I think that was so awesome. I'm glad you brought that up because, in the past I'll have a campus leader or student leader, and I'll disciple that person, but kind of work remotely. And this semester I decided, okay, I'm going to change that. I'm going to work on campus at least 4 days a week, and team up. Be a participant. I'm not going to lead it, quote unquote, but I'm going to be part of the team, sharing my faith. And it was the funnest semester I've had in years. I mean, just to be together with you guys. I mean, it was just so much fun. Because the memories we share are all together, and they weren't always good memories, but we made memories. There were times I thought, oh my gosh, we are sharing with so many people. Well, let's find some open people out here. But I think the highlight for me was like when Ed and I were sharing with you. I'm like, man, Ed is really good at this, and I walked up to a guy at a bench and, hey, would you like to come to church? He said, yeah, I would like to come to church. And we had a good talk. And Hudson, that was September 9th of this year. We studied the Bible with him together. and he became a Christian a few weeks ago. And that was super encouraging for me because it was like, man, is anyone open out here? You know, there's times you have those thoughts like, Lord, throw me a bone here. You know, give me something open.
Man.
I think another highlight for me was, Felipe, you said, hey, let's go sharing on Halloween and pass out candy on Halloween. And to be honest with you, I was like, I don't want to.
Me too.
I was like, I don't want to. It was on a Monday, and I want to take Monday off. I'm worn out. But because you asked, I'm like, I can't really say no to sharing. And so we went out there. We shared with like 400 people.
Oh, yeah.
We had like 400 pieces of candy. We just going crazy. And it just didn't seem like anyone was open at all. Except there was this one girl that we met named Caitlin, and she was wearing a Brazilian jersey. And I said, hey, we got some Brazilians in our church. Would you like to come? And she said, I'd like to, but I work on Sunday. And then we bumped into her again, same day, got her number, and I said, I'm going to have someone from our church follow up with you. And she did. And so a month later, she came to church and has been coming for the past 3 weeks with her mom. And, you know, checked on the box, I want to join this church.
Oh,
and
that's
so,
awesome.
You know, that's a highlight for me because I go,
huge highlight. October
it's exciting.
31st.
I know it. That's right. I mean, just that's a super, super encouraging thing. Let's talk about what are some of the challenges of this last semester. Like, what are some of the things you go, ooh, that was pretty challenging or surprising?
Bearing through the heat of the summer.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That heat out there was serious, and we were just under that sun, under that tent, baking in the heat
I know.
for about 3 months.
August 15th through September 15th in Tucson is it's murder.
Yeah.
It's just hot. Whew. I agree. That was
Yeah, I think it was the challenging part was, yeah, I mean, you had to get out there. You know, you had to get out of the house, go out on campus, and just share. You know, you don't want to do it, like you say.
Right.
Like, you just got to push yourself and put yourself on campus.
It's so funny to say because you're a minister, you know, but you're like, I don't want to go. You know those conversations in your head, like, I can't share today. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so worth it once you get out there. You know, push through that first hesitation. It's awesome. Yeah, I think that was the hardest part, the most challenging part.
Yeah.
I think persevering. I think, you know, when we had a lot of people come to church at first, you think all of them are going to make it.
Right.
But I think just that's some people are just not going to choose God over their careers. Some people are just going to choose not to repent.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. And I think you just got to persevere through it. And once you do, and you have fruit, it's so refreshing. Like when Stephen, when he got baptized, he just wants to share it with his friends.
Yes.
And you realize this is how it works. Right? Is you make a disciple who can make a disciple who's going to make a disciple. But you got to just find those. You got to just persevere and find the people that will respond to the gospel.
Exactly. Exactly. Especially when you're starting at the beginning. Yeah, I think it's been compared to like a rocket getting off the pad. It takes so much energy to escape gravity. I mean, it just takes all that thrusting. It takes boosters. And then when once it escapes gravity, it doesn't take a lot of energy to maintain the speed. But that's how it felt this semester on campus, starting with 3 students coming out of COVID. I mean, it was, depleted, to say the least. And I think everyone in this group, I think we felt the need, like we gotta start here from ground zero. And it's got to start with our example.
Yeah, and speaking of, if I can kind of cut back to the highlights, the rocket ship example reminded me, at the end of the semester, we had a Friendsgiving that the students planned, or rather like one of our interns helped, but it was like mainly, I didn't do anything. I just my wife brought some food. But I just showed up, and there were more friends than disciples. And I didn't try very hard to inviting anybody. It was mainly the students that just invited their friends and roommates. And it just felt like, okay, this rocket is in the air.
Yeah, that was a good feeling. Just seeing the students started to catch the vision. Ed, you want to talk about some more highlights?
Yeah, I think coming out of the engineering career and into campus ministry, it's a big change, right? Shift from working a part-time job, and I think being on campus being with these guys has been really, really fun. Just because, we're doing things together. Mm-hmm. We are talking, we're praying, we're sharing scriptures together, we're discipling each other, helping one another. And that's so valuable. You can't put price to that. I feel like that was one of the big highlights for me, just working on campus with you guys, just being able to get trained, to learn from you guys, to learn that ministry is hard and what it takes to do it.
Yeah. It was so much fun. We've been in so many Bible studies together this semester. Just like probably 100, I would think, between us. We've spent so many hours together, which is kind of what I had hoped for, and it happened in, just like, wow, in abundance. We were together a lot. And another thing that I thought was really awesome is there were times where I would get stuck with a particular student that we were studying the Bible with, and Kevin, you'd meet with him, and then all of a sudden take him to the next level. And I felt like there was a lot of give and take. I felt like we helped each other out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I felt like vice versa. I felt stuck at times, and then I get a text like, "Hey, I'm looking to get baptized," and then I was like, "Whoa, what happened?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I met with Felipe and Rob," and it was just like the teamwork is so awesome. And I think Ed, like, there are times where you would just open your Bible and be like, "Hey, bro, this is what I learned in my quiet time," and then I would look at the same scripture and I'd be like, "Ed, have you noticed this about the scripture that you're sharing with me?" And we would just start like having new insights, and we'd be praying together for people. And then I really felt like an iron sharpening iron relationship with you. At one time, you're like, "Bro, Kevin, I see that you're super giving on campus, but I think you need to be more loving to your family, to your wife and your kids." I was like, "Wow, all right, bro, I'll take it. Amen. I think you're right." It just felt like real discipleship. It felt like this is how it was designed, with Jesus and his guys walking together daily, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, what are your dreams going forward? You guys came here with a dream to serve God and advance His kingdom. What do you plan on doing in the future? Why don't we start with Ed?
Well, my dream has always been to do some type of ministry in Latin America. I was born and raised in Honduras, and I have a heart to help people there, whether it's planting a church in the town where I was born, or just going on a mission team and help plant a church somewhere in South America or anywhere in Latin America. It's always been a dream of mine, and just serve people, serve the poor, and do the ministry of Jesus.
Wow. It'd be awesome to see you lead a church somewhere there. That'd be amazing. How about you, Felipe?
Ed and I kind of talked about our dreams in the future, and it's a frequent conversation topic, and I think we've both felt desires to have these big dreams like he was sharing. And something I told him was, I feel like we're in Tucson for a reason. We shouldn't leave before we discover that reason. And my, future has kind of taken a turn in a way. My wife was accepted to CRNA school in Spokane at Gonzaga. So we'll be moving there in January. It's bittersweet, obviously, to leave what I have with you guys here and with the church here. But I'm striving for that mindset. That's still that same mindset of wherever I go, I want to be able to start something.
Yeah.
I want to be able to make an impact. I know that I have maybe a different upbringing than most people. I've been able to develop different talents. And I just want to be able to, I want to take that to Spokane with me, not just see it as a pit stop along the way, but an opportunity to still pursue and fuel that dream of, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to preach the gospel. I'm going to help people become Christians. I'm going to help start something, whatever it is, whatever I can, however way I can build up the church there is what I'm going to do. But in the long run, I definitely still have that passion of, I think what Paul says, going where the gospel hasn't been preached.
Right.
And I don't know where that will be yet.
Right.
It's yet to be determined. I speak Portuguese, have to work on getting fluent again, but Portugal doesn't have a church yet. So
Right. Oh my gosh.
that's popped into my mind.
That'd be awesome.
In our family of churches, at least.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
But that would be a dream come true, I think, to have an impact like that.
Because when you came here, your dream was to be a bivocational minister, you know, to be self-supporting and then to plant a church. That'd be awesome. You could go there to Lisbon and plant a church. You just went there on vacation.
Yeah.
How was that?
Beautiful.
What'd you think about it?
Oh, the food's awesome. The seafood is just so fresh. The people are nice.
Yeah.
The houses are all super colorful.
Oh my gosh.
Pleasant weather, and lots of Brazilians there too.
Exactly.
A lot of Brazilians move there.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you, Kevin? What are your dreams for the future?
Well, my immediate dream is to baptize more people, to serve the poor here in Tucson for the next semester, and to just do campus ministry, do more of what we've done last semester. Right. In September, I'm going on Revive EE, and Lord willing, we want to spend the rest of our lives in Muslim territory in Turkey with the Turkic peoples, the countries in the Turkic people. So that's Turkey, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, countries on that, like with the Turkic peoples. I think when I thought about, like, there's a website that rates countries by persecution level. When I first thought of Turkey, I go, it's on the persecution level is lower than China. So I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like, but recently I started learning more about it, reading books, talking to missionaries that are already there, and I realized this is going to be immensely difficult. On top of how it's a different culture that I'm not familiar with. Right. I don't speak the language. But I think as I learned more about it, I just began to have a really deep compassion with the suffering of the people in their spiritual state over there. And the difficulty level of it has even given me a greater zeal and fire for, okay, nobody really that I know has a dream for these people. And it has to be done. Now I don't know if I'm up for the task, but I just have a dream. I just have a dream that these people that no one really cares about or thinks about, that I know of, is, you know, they need to be rescued in their spiritual state in this life and for the next life. So
right. That's right. It's exciting to me to think about you guys going off to different mission sites, whether it's Gonzaga, Spokane, Latin America, or Turkey. I go, that fires me up, because I remember as a young Christian, so many of the people on campus that I was converted at UC Berkeley, we went overseas. We went not only overseas, but I ended up going and planting a church in Oregon. But so many of my friends went to Japan, the Philippines, Thailand, all over Asia. And it just kind of left an imprint in my mind of how campus ministry should be, where there's a mission passion for God. There's like, I want to do something big for God with my life. And this semester's really rekindled that. It's really, on a very small scale, but I think at the nucleus, in the leadership, there's been a real passion, like, hey, we want to do something. And it's been something that's been united. And that's what's been, I really appreciate about you guys, is there's a shared spirit of like, let's do something great for God. And let's work together. And let's encourage each other, because it can be really discouraging at times. And let's just face it. I mean, there's times you just go, oh my gosh, Lord, help me. And I think having each other has made it great. And I felt that. I felt like we need more support on campus. We've got to work together, because it can be very discouraging. And I think people who have talent and have ability, I think they've dropped out because it's just so lonely. They don't have friends. They don't have people walking with them. And I think that this semester has shown me it can be different. It can be really encouraging. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean it's, we don't have room to grow, but at least you can grow while being encouraged and have friends. So let's just talk about this next semester for Ed. You're still gonna be here, and Kevin. Knowing what you know now, what do you want to do differently? What would you like to improve? What do you look forward to changing, to seeing even more fruitfulness, even more closeness to God going into this next semester?
I think relationship building kind of evangelism on top of cold contact evangelism the first 2 weeks of school involving the students.
Right.
That's a long sentence, but practically speaking, what that would look like is student-led events every night, or at least like 3 nights out of the 5.
Right.
First 2 weeks of school that they can invite anybody to. We can invite anybody to. We can invite people that we just met to. That's one thing, on top of tabling, on top of cold contact sharing. And I think for me and Ed, more times spent in the gym with people playing ball. Just like I think more cold contact and more relationship, just like more of everything.
Right.
And also more serving the poor. At the end of the last semester, we kind of hit upon something where we did a coat drive, a jacket drive for the homeless. And I think it was received well by the campus, as in like by the students, non-disciple students, by the disciple students, and just by the church, by everybody. Like It was like, you can't go wrong with serving the poor.
Right.
And that's a great way to spend more time with non-Christians. Call them to do something out of themselves. People know they're privileged.
Right.
There's so much money, here. I feel like so many people on scholarships here. So many people with just growing up knowing that they're privileged. They want to do something. And so I think more cold contact outreach. I think for me, be more disciplined about cold contact outreach, like setting myself a goal for every day of how many people I want to reach, and spending a lot of time with those people that are willing to go out and serve the poor together. They're willing to study the Bible. They're willing to play basketball together. That are willing to come out to something that the disciples organized. And another thing is having an activity where the students are all in on. Like, we try to organize a Bible talk, traditional Bible talk. But I think it was just us. And I think it will be really effective when it's us, the workers, plus the students all hands in, all united, all on board,
right,
together. So those are some of the things.
Right.
I think for me it's just evangelism. I need to get really close to the disciples on campus and just develop close relationships and disciple them or help them grow, especially those who just got baptized, and help others. Just get them involved in evangelism, sharing with hundreds of people if that's what it takes, and finding that one person that is open. This is not in campus, but I'm also, my dream is to go to Latin America. We have a small group in our church that is Spanish, and I really want to help that group too. So I'm excited about that too, because I feel like the campus ministry gives me energy,
right,
to also help this group in our church,
right,
and get the training also with leading a Spanish, small Spanish group.
Exactly. You've really just come alive more than ever. It's been exciting to see your energy grow. I agree with you, Kevin. I feel like and Felipe, you can comment. I mean, even though you're not going to be here, you can share some ideas. But I think getting the student disciples more activated. I think we felt like we need to set the example and set the tone, and we can't wait for the freshmen to kind of gear up evangelistically. And I think that the second semester is going to be more like, okay, now we need to help them to go out and make friends and, reach out more and shoulder more of the discipleship challenge.
I think I want to comment that I think part of it was intentional. There were some freshmen coming in, they didn't know there needed some adjustment period.
Right.
I think moving here from the East Coast, there would be some culture shock.
Right.
And I think I'm really proud of them. I think all of them got A's and B's.
Wow, that's awesome.
If I'm not.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
were you doing their homework for them?
I think it was definitely a focus. There was definitely more than a handful of D times where it was just like focused on, or talks at least, of like, hey, what are you going to do right now? What are you going to do after that? And after that?
Right.
And let's pray about this extremely hard test. One of the students shared how he got like a 50-something on his first exam for an extremely hard class, but then ended out that class with an A.
Wow.
Got the next 3 tests, he got like 90. So.
Well, I think you did a good job of meeting consistently for D times with the students that you're discipling. I think you really did an excellent job, and the students did great. I mean, I felt like the unity is there. I agree, like that Friendsgiving, you could see that there was momentum, there was maturity happening at the student level.
Yeah, I think something we thought was, if we're going to call people to a standard, we have to set the example. So we didn't shy away from going all out.
Right.
And now I think it's okay. Paul did this. He called people to imitate him. It's okay for leaders to do that with, church members or ministry members. Call them to imitate your example. And I think everyone really did their best this semester. I think we did our best, and I think the students did their best, and you only have more to build on. And I want to really lift up Kevin, because your midweek lessons to the campus disciples were
awesome.
Always so great, and you focused on building faith. And I remember one of the next steps you gave everyone was pray for God for greater faith, the kind of faith like that father that said, I believe, but help my unbelief. Just pray for greater faith. And I think it's awesome because you do get to see the faith of the disciples growing, and you see that first baptism. And for some reason at that baptism, the other guy who's studying the Bible says, I want to get baptized too. And then the next one, the same thing happens. It just snowballs, in a really awesome way. So I think their faith is going to continue to grow. And just that taking that ownership is when campus ministry is just the unforgettable, probably the most unforgettable time of your life as a, young Christian.
Exactly. Yeah. Kevin, you've talked about the ministry incubator, and really that concept is something that you came up with, and I thought it was a great idea. And what we see here is like, okay, these guys are moving on, and you're moving on. You're going off to Turkey probably in the fall. Who would be a candidate for this kind of a program to be here? What are you looking for in a couple to replace you?
I think 3 things. One is humility to receive feedback and to take it, to receive training. I think it's one thing to be around people who are offering you training, but then to actually receive that training is applying it and accepting it. It takes a lot of humility to receive feedback. Yeah. And then 2, whatever it takes kind of attitude. It's like, okay, I don't like football, but like if that's what it takes to getting excited about football games is what it takes to relate to students, like whatever I need to do, anything that I need to do, anything that I need to change, I'm willing to do it to be more effective. And I think 3, just a courage, a boldness to not think of yourself, not be self-focused. Be when you think about what other people are thinking of you, I think that's when you stop being bold. That's when you stop sharing, and I think you being willing to put that aside and focus on other people's needs.
Right.
So I think if you have those qualities, I think the training. I think you can receive the training. I don't necessarily think you need to have a ton of campus ministry experience if you have those qualities to be successful. I think the main thing about this program is you're going to be able to walk with somebody on campus. And I think, Rob, you're all about planting churches and multiplying leaders, disciples, and churches. And so whoever comes here, you're not looking to like keep them here forever doing campus ministry. You're looking to raise them up to be evangelists and women's ministry leaders.
Right.
And you're looking to walk with them to go do that. And so I think that's something really special and unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's my hope is just that people will come and people have a dream to make a difference for God and go plant a church, go overseas, go domestically. I don't know. There's so many things you can do for God, but doing it in an environment where you're surrounded by friends, you're not alone, and you can watch other people, you can interact, you can learn from watching other people in a positive environment, and start on campus, but then move on to, plant churches around the metropolitan area. There's a lot of cities around Tucson and beyond, Southeast Arizona, all over Arizona. Let's plant churches all over the states. Let's go overseas. We can go into Mexico. I mean, and you've mentioned places like Uruguay or different places. I go, let's go. Let's, wherever you have a dream, let's help you get the start you need so you can advance God's kingdom. I go, that fires me up. And I think about Flagstaff planted during COVID. I go, that gives me an incredible sense of satisfaction and joy. Because, like Ed and Felipe, we went up there when it was really just nothing. It was just a few people. And now it's a flourishing church. I go, that must bring Jesus so much joy. And that makes me really happy. I go, okay, a lot of bad stuff happened in COVID. But I look at that and go, that was really good. That was a really good feeling. And now Brian and Abby are evangelists and women's ministry leader. And I go, okay, that was good. That was a really good thing. And I hope we can do that and multiply that 100 times. So, guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you for all your effort on campus. It was a pleasure and an honor to work with you this semester. And it's kind of sad to think that it's coming to an end. Can't stay together forever, but I'll tell you what, this has been a really memorable fall for me. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been great.
I hope you're planning on going to the Climb Small Church Leadership Conference in Dallas, Texas, November 30th through December 3rd, 2023. It's going to be an amazing time to learn, to grow, to build relationships with other like-minded people, kingdom-minded disciples from around the world who want to grow, who want to learn, and who want to be their best for God. So I hope to see you in Dallas. Also, if you have a desire to lead, to plant, or lead a church, or you'd like to become an evangelist or women's ministry leader, I have something you should consider. I'm looking to hire for the following positions. If you want to become a church leader in the future, but you need more experience in the basics of ministry, and you want someone to walk with you, to show you how to do it, I'm looking for male and female interns who will start on campus and graduate to church planting or leadership in the future. It's part of what we call our Ministry Incubator program. Secondly, if you're ready to lead a campus ministry right now, I'm looking for a couple to lead the University of Arizona campus ministry. We'd like you to join us immediately, starting in January of 2023, and then in the fall, you will assume the leadership of the campus ministry. Now, finally, if you already have ministry or church leadership experience and you're just waiting for your shot to lead your own church, we're looking for an experienced couple of any age to lead a church planting in the Tucson metropolitan area. All of these are paid positions, so please let me know if you or someone you know are interested in this opportunity. Email me at rob@robskinner.com. rob@robskinner.com. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, I'd like to ask your help. First, hit the subscribe button. Secondly, post the episode and its link on your favorite social media site and let your friends know about the program. Thirdly, read and review one of my books, How to Plant and Grow a Church, or Courage, How to Make This Life Count. You can find both of these on Amazon.com. Finally, email me if you have any life advice you'd like me to address, or if you have a topic or person you'd like to hear on the program. Because my goal is to inspire you to make this life count, live a no-regrets life, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Have a great day and make this life count.